kick us off? Do you just want to give us your name and talk about where you're currently living?
Sure. The name is John Heenan. I live in Madison, New Jersey. Been here 17 years.
Great. What about your experience in Madison made you want to reach out to us for this interview?
Well, you asked if I was interested in talking about Madison. Like I said, I've been here 17 years, and I raised my two girls here. My wife and I did, and it's we were thinking we just retired just in the last few months, and we are thinking of moving someplace else. So we were sort of exploring your site, but we're in a better position than we expected to be at this time. So we're not in a hurry to leave, and we decided we like it here. So we're for the moment are going to stay, because it has a lot of advantages.
Great. What advantages would those be?
Well, it's we're close to New York City. We're an hour train ride if you take the local, 45 minutes for the express. It's I love the city. I worked there for a little while, just half a year job, but and grew up in the area on the other side of the Hudson in New York, New Rochelle, and Stamford, Connecticut. So I love New York. We're an hour from the shore. It's a nice town. There's a lot of restaurants in the area, and Madison and beyond that are close. Everything is convenient, and it's a great location. What is it? Location. This has got just about everything you really want.
Nice.
I mean, the downside is, of course, it's the price of admission. It's a very expensive town to get into, and it has some multi-housing units. They're trying to put some more in here, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of opportunity for people who can't afford it.
hmm with all that considered, the good and the bad, would you recommend someone else move to Madison overall?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. They have good schools here. It's perfectly safe. There's easy access to everything. We've got, within a mile of my house, I have 4 supermarkets. I got a Starbucks, half, 2 blocks away. So it's like I said, a lot of nice dining places, a lot of nice selections. So, it's some places to walk. I got a dog, the German Shepherd, with some places in the woods we can go that are not too far. Walking, not driving. So, yeah, I really like it.
Great. So you said you've been living here for 17 years. Where did you live before Madison?
Well, we grew up in, like I said, New York, Connecticut, lived in Florida for a while, Texas, and then lastly, Minnesota before coming here. Then a little bit of time in Chicago.
Wow. Which of those would you say was probably your biggest move, like in terms of cultural differences?
Oh, that's a good question. I think moving from Connecticut to Florida was really dramatic, because I grew up in a an old mining town that had just gone through this the '60s revolution, where they became a wealthy small city. Connecticut's very nice. There's no county government in Connecticut, which is interesting. Florida, we had 2 towns in the whole county, and one of them was a mermaid resort or playground. Really, I'm not joking. It was put on the map, Weeki Wachee, if you've heard of it, because they wanted to have the sign saying Weeki Wachee 17 miles on the highway. And it was a lot of retirees predominantly. It was a huge retirement community that took over most of the counties just north of Tampa, St. Pete. I worked for the Tampa Tribune as a reporter down there, discovering the county. So I got to know it very well. So it was a mix of northern retirees and old South, and it was quite a contrast. They got along well, but there was some differences.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So what about that experience moving was positive, do you think? Like what stuck out as a good thing about it for you?
Well, I get itchy feet after a few years in one place, so that's just one of the reasons I moved a lot. I think an equally dramatic move would have been moving from Texas to Minnesota, which is, the weather alone in the South, it just gets hot and it's awful, but in the North, it gets so cold it tries to kill you. But we came to love Minnesota, which is actually our favorite place, I think, overall of all the places we lived, because it was so nice, nice people. It's nicely laid out, well-designed city. And that move was easy, the easiest of all, because we enjoyed it so much once we got settled in. Moving is always traumatic in its own ways, but if you're adventurous, it can be fun. If some people are not, everybody's different. So that's what makes a horse race, right?
hmm Totally. Do you have advice for people who might be making similar moves in the future?
You mean in moving in general?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a good question. It's a lot easier now with the internet because you can explore places. You can, if anything, you get too many choices, but you can find out what housing costs. You can much easier now. It's easier to find out what the layout of the land is, what they have for services, grocery stores, for example. You can find out what the crime rate is. You can find out how diverse the area is. I mean, I wish this area was more diverse. That's one of the downsides. Um, so you can find out really what you want that you'll find comfortable. And of course, you have to be able to get along with people. But if you do, you'll be fine pretty much wherever you go. People are, for the most part, wherever we live, they've been very nice, and we've gotten along with most of our neighbors. Not all, but you know, everybody's like that, right?
Hmm. Yeah, totally. And then that was most of my questions for today. We went through it pretty quick. Before we sign off, do you have anything else that you want to share?
Well, I was thinking of the pros and cons of Madison, and I think I mentioned that the location, like I said, it's close to New York, it's close to the shore, it's close to. I mean, I went to the Yankee game this year. I went to one of the two immersive Van Gogh exhibits in New York this summer. I mean, New York has everything. We're 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes to the ferry to the Statue of Liberty, which we do every year. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that to do here. It's like I said, there's very little crime. And then for the most part, the people are nice. The schools are good. Some people still pay, for private schooling, but for the most part, the schools are very good. The downsides, like I said, I wish it was more diverse. It's so which makes the it's but I think overall it's a great place to live, and I think just about anybody would enjoy it here. I've never really heard people complain much about it, and people love to complain. So that's sort of it.
Great. That's wonderful to hear. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It was lovely to get to know you. And I'm glad you enjoy Madison so much.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Yeah, have a
Have a
great
great rest of
day.
your day. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.